And we are live. All right, how do I actually pull up this panel? Let's see. There we go. Turn on. Sure hope this actually works. Yo, if this is actually working, please put something in chat, because I suffered last time when this wasn't working. All right, how do I grab the link? Yo, what's up, Sean? Wait, so is the stream actually working this time? I put so much effort into learning how to actually stream properly after that. What's up if you were joining? Here, let me put this in the... Yo, okay, thank you. I don't know if you were there in the last stream. It was absolutely horrendous, and it took me like 40 minutes to actually get started. Oh God, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Well, I hope my efforts to make this better worked. Because I want to be able to do this more often and not run into like a significant amount of issues. But what's poppin'? What's up? Have you watched the video? Because I have a new video out, finally. I guess so, but like from my end, just spending like 30, 35 minutes of like trying to get it going and then being told like, we don't see you, it says it hasn't started yet, was like kind of fun in a stressful way, but I'm really glad it's actually working. Have y'all got a chance to see the new video? I'm kind of curious if my thoughts about the two cars are in line with everyone else, or if I just like have my own weird opinions. Okay, well, if you want, I can save you the time and I can just tell you the video. Now I'm trying to remember what the video is even about, like, or what I talked about. Have you driven, like, which Miatas have you driven though? I'm kind of curious. Like, because I made the video about like my NB versus the ND I rented when I went to SoCal, and so because I put 2,000 miles on that, so I figured like that's fair enough to like talk about it. I had a 91 NA, but now I own a 2000 NB. Okay, so have you driven an ND? Because that was substantially more different than the NB and the NAs that I've driven. Never drove any of the other ones. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting. So you know how the NB feels like a toy car, where it's just like the foam door cards and like the lack of sound insulation. What else is there about it? The lack of safety or crash structure. The ND was like obviously more of an actual like real car, and then on top of that, my main gripe with it was all the inputs were more difficult to get along with than I thought. Like the electric steering kind of sucked. The shifter was like way stronger. Like you know how like on like I think I've driven the 5-speed like once on the NAs, but like on like the NA and NB, like the 5-speed and 6-speed, it's like kind of easy. Like you could shift with your fingers if you want to. With the ND, I was like I had to like almost like slam it through the gears to like actually get it to go all the way in. So that like massive amount of effort that I had to put in was kind of like weird. And then what was the last one? The pedal, because it's not like a physical shifter cable. It was kind of weird that it was like mapped in a very non-linear way. So if I like pressed half throttle, it like basically didn't actually really do anything. And if you press it all the way, then it like started actually opening up the intake. So it was just like really weird to drive. Like I got used to the shifter, but the mapping on the pedal and then the what is this? The shifter were like really weird. But it is a more livable car, as probably anyone can expect. So I basically just like summarized all my thoughts. But my biggest takeaway was like I actually really like the soft top mechanism on the ND. It's so much easier to get along with because it's like a 2-second operation. So I basically made that like what did I do? Like number 1 point was like the increase in power was like way better. And the number 2 point was the soft top mechanism. Like forget like the analog electric thing with like all the inputs. It was the soft top mechanism that like was actually a game changer to like live with and like work with. I'm curious if anyone here has driven an ND though, because I really want to see like if my thoughts lined up or not. And I was trying really hard not to like insult any ND owners because it is a great car, but like the steering, I couldn't get along with that. It just felt like it was just really numb. And like I'm not like a big car person. I don't have much experience, so it's not like I'm like a car reviewer being like, oh well, this steering is like more precise and sharper, and this is not. It's just like it surprised me how much it stood out to me, being a person who doesn't have like the most experience with those things. But that was kind of my takeaway. And then like it also made me appreciate my car more because it was way more raw and like informative to drive, like the steering. So yeah, that's kind of like where I'm at now. It also like ruined my shifter because that shifter is so stiff that when I got back to mine just felt floppy in comparison, like the 6-speed that I have. That was also pretty odd, but yeah. I gotta also get the next videos out too. That's been a fun time. What's up if you're joining? Yo, what's up, Chris? How's it going? How's it going? It's all right. I sprained my thumb last week, so I've been trying to do like I like tried to edit that video with the sprained thumb, and it took like all day of like taking breaks and like putting my hand literally in a bowl of ice. So that's fun, but otherwise it's going pretty solid. Yo, for everyone, opinion is that the first and second generations are the Miatas, and I like the others, but just not the same. That's kind of what I saw a lot of people talk about. Like, I've seen a lot of points that like the NA is like the most Miata of the Miatas, which I think is kind of a funny quote. But I kind of agree. It's like I still haven't driven the NC much, more than like a couple of miles, but yeah. But like the ND is a good compromise for like daily driving though. Um, I really like. I tried to. I actually did daily drive my NB a couple of weeks ago because I had a flat in my daily, and that was kind of a weird experience. And I was thinking about trying to make a video about that as well. For anyone new who's joining, I was wondering if y'all have driven like both an NB and an ND. Because I haven't like, before I made that video, I didn't actually reach out to anyone who has driven them and kind of compared my opinions before I like put them out in the world. So I'm still very curious to like hear back on if I was kind of in line or not. Let's see. I'm checking the comments on the video now. I have a 2001 SE and I wish I had more power. Yeah, it kind of ruins it all. I would have liked to see the ND soft top mirror. Yeah, system does look like an improvement over the ND. Yeah. Are you all Miata owners? Like, what's kind of the breakdown here? I am also curious to like drive more cars, because I don't want the channel to like just be Miatas. Kind of feels a little constrained by that. So I'm hoping like the more I drive cars in the future, I'll have a better baseline to like know what the hell I'm talking about. Because right now I'm kind of like I don't know what I'm talking about. All my experience is basically just like with that NB. And like, what else have I? That's pretty much like the only real car that I've like fun car I've driven, except for I've test driven like the GR86 and the Supra, and I think about those a lot. But yeah, because also like build videos are really tough to make because I have to do the building. So like working on the car, what is it? I have to like spend sometimes like a couple of weekends working on the car just to get the content recorded, and then that content itself gets slowed down because I'm recording. So like I'm prepping to pull the engine, but like, and I know that that's doable in like a couple hours, but I feel like it's gonna take me a day or two just because I have to record so much, and then actually editing that into a video takes like a few weeks. So I've been trying to like figure out some other content to kind of put in between that's still like pretty interesting. And that's kind of where I got the idea for like this NB and D video. Looking forward to seeing any Miata content. Yeah, man, me too. I haven't had much time recently, so it's been bumming me out, but I haven't got as many videos out as I want to. I actually have a few recorded. I took a road trip. I took like a mini road trip up to Dallas a few weeks ago to like go to the track dog racing event, which was kind of interesting. Definitely want to see more of your car. Okay, cool. Cool. Because that's the only like content car I have. But I'm kind of curious, like, so I'm trying to take a couple of different angles where it's not just build videos, but maybe like commentary videos or like videos where I'm sharing some insights of like, I guess, the ownership experience. Um, I just like talking about that car, and if I can find any excuse to talk about it, I'd love to talk about it. And not all my friends always want to hear Miata talk all day, so YouTube's kind of the outlet for that. But I've been thinking like, okay, I want to like maybe try and make a video about like what it's like to daily drive the Miata, but like I want to see if I can do a bit more of like put a little bit more of an entertaining spin on it, but I'm not sure what that would be. But I have that idea. I was gonna like talk about or like I guess give advice on like from my experience about like, okay, well like what modifications have I like enjoyed the most or been the best? And the answer, if you're watching, is alignment, coilovers, what was it? Alignment, coilovers, and tires. Those are like the main ones. Good work on the videos, bud. New subscriber here. Thank you, man. Thanks for joining. I got a lot more on the way, but it's taken a minute. But yeah, so like I was saying, like I think, what was it? I have like a whole wall. What am I thinking about here? Let's see. 1 year of working on the Miata in 5 minutes. 5 things that I love and hate in my Miata. But the hard part about this is like trying to make sure it really is well, like fleshed out and entertaining enough. So that's why it's like, even though it's tough to make the build videos, it's also like the easiest in terms of like how straightforward it is. Places and things you do with your car. Yeah, so like that's kind of like an idea that I really want to flesh out more. I feel like there's a way that I could make it funny or entertaining. And I feel like a lot of people who like, especially people who don't even know about this car might find kind of funny. Because there's a lot of people I meet that like don't even know what that car is. And if I show them or I show a picture, there's like, oh my God, that's like such a tiny toy car. Like, how do you fit in that? How do you get around in that? And I'm like, maybe I can show you in a video. But yeah, so I'm trying to do that, especially now that like my thumb is in pain. I can't work on the car for a couple of weeks, so I have nothing to do but just talk about it. I've got a 1999 NB1, and I can say I'm happy to own it for like a month and think about slowly adding mods to it. Yeah, but be careful. It's such a money pit, and there's no end to it. So I think the one piece of advice I would give, not that you're asking for advice, but I'm gonna give advice because I love talking, is I think Keith Tanner talks about this a bit, is like have an end goal of like what are you trying to do with the car, where are you trying to get it at? And for me at least, that was always like keep it as like a dual duty car, so nothing hardcore, nothing like that irreversible, but also kind of like a learning car at the same time. So like if I have an opportunity to put something on that it really doesn't need like chassis bracing, I probably am still gonna put it on just because I really wanna like learn a lot about cars and a lot about like modifying and what modifications affected in what way. So that's kind of like the way I've been going, and that's like why like even though I put coilovers on, when I got the Tecnas, I got like the GT, the touring springs, because I still wanted like the softer ride. So I'm kind of like approaching it like that, and like the exhaust, I went for like a really quiet exhaust, just like barely louder than stock, the Flying Miata muffler. But now I'm at a point where I'm thinking about just like getting the Goodwin Racing Roadster Sport 4 after I did that road trip. And then the ND, like the red ND that shows up that I like put in that video, I rented off of Turo, and the guy had a Goodwin Racing exhaust on it. And so that completely sold me on that thing. So I've been like, I want to put it on, but I gotta like wait until I get the rest of my work done before I go about like trying to get it or like buy it. So, but Yeah, what mods are you thinking? Um, if I can give more advice, I mean, if you can swing it, get some quality coilovers, like quality, like, but they're expensive, but it's worth the money. But that has made like putting those, what is it, the 949, the Super Miata Tecnas on it, that has changed it so much, and it's kind of like a dual benefit because it's not just like it needed like I could give it coilovers, but also it needed new suspension because like the old shocks are, in your case, 26 years old. So it was kind of like a good excuse of like, well, it needs new shocks, and then at that point, might as well put coilovers on it. So like that, like coilovers, wheels, tires, and alignment was like the best stuff I've done. And from there on, like I'm basically just focusing on like livability upgrades. So like I'm looking at doing adding sound insulation in the car and possibly putting in new carpet, and then upgrading the sound system, which I really wanted to have done by now, but I have so many more pressing mechanical things to work on with that car that I have to put it off. But yeah, do you have any modifications that you were like thinking about, or like a direction you were thinking about going? Because I would be happy to answer or answering questions with my limited experience. This is my first car ever, so I'll be learning with it as I drive and learning how to take care of it. Coilovers will be soon. Hell yeah. Yeah, then like I guess the main thing would be like maintenance first. Trying to think what else. Like all like have you changed all the fluids yet? Because that would like changed all the fluids and like rebuilt the shifter if you need. Those are the first things I did, and I forgot what I had like a weird. How did I go down the suspension rabbit hole? Yeah, I was like I had a weird couple of sounds that were coming from like the wheel well that turned out to be just like a bent dust shield on the rotor, just like grinding as I was driving. And when I went under there, I noticed like half my ball joints were like the cover that holds the grease was cracked, and half of them had already leaked quite a bit. And so that kind of freaked me out. And then I Googled it and I realized that's a pretty normal thing. But if you're at the point where you've lost a lot of grease, there's probably a lot of dirt that's got in. And then it can slowly wear out. And if the ball joint gets bad enough, the wheel can fall off. So that was like my first like maintenance rabbit hole of like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna rebuild my suspension first. And then while I was at it, I got caught in it, and I was like, okay, well, I might as well get coilovers now. But yeah, like I started off just like doing maintenance. Like I never planned to mod the car either. Like the place I'm at now is not at all what I intended. I literally just wanted to learn how to like do fluid changes and like take off a wheel and put it back on and do my brakes. Like that's all I initially wanted to do. Let's see. When I finally make that the video about the most recommended, or I guess like my favorite modifications, that list I gave is gonna just be the whole list. Coilovers, wheels, or is it suspension, wheels, and tires, which is what everyone always says you should do. But I'm still kind of thinking through, and I think I'm gonna put an exhaust in there, just because that changed how the car felt so much. Yeah. What else do I have planned? I don't want to move this too much because it's gonna like come off, but I have a wall of literally just like all my future videos planned. And so I've been kind of like, that was my whole plan. Like, I haven't really talked about this much, but like, I had a whole plan of like going through that whole list, and then the car got hit, and that just kind of like threw all of that on hold. But I had like 50 videos planned of like little upgrades or little things to try out or little things to compare. I did all the fluids, but I see the radiator's turning greenish, so I'll be buying a new one a new one soon as the first job. See if the brakes are fairly good. Hell yeah. That's actually like what is going on with my sister's car. Like she has a 2016 Subaru and the radiator, that's actually like how I have a sprained thumb. Actually, funny enough, is I was gonna go and like fix my sister's radiator. And so I loaded up my car. I picked up like my heavy jack with like just my fingers, put in the trunk, and then I picked up a radiator just like this, and then I felt a tear in my hand. So that's where I'm at now. But yeah, that's definitely the move to go. Like that's kind of what I forgot to mention that. Like that's kind of like what I recommended for a lot of people was focus on things first that can kill you or like really cause issues. So that comes down to basically like brakes, tires, and I guess like the cooling system because that can strand you. But that's awesome. Like that's good that you caught that. Good suggestion on the maintenance first. Thank you. I like to think that I know what I'm doing, and I like to think that I'm a person who gives good advice. But in reality, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm blessed. I watch YouTube like you all as well. I'm still learning as I'm going. What's up to everyone who just joined? I don't know if you've seen the new video or not, but I just put one out about like my thoughts on the NB versus ND. Because I obviously have the NB, and then I put like 2,000 miles on an ND when I like rented it on a trip. So I'm kind of curious. I've been kind of asking around. Like I'm kind of curious if any of y'all have like driven both those cars and have any thoughts on it. Because I haven't got to really compare my thoughts about them with anyone else. Like I haven't. I guess apart from like the one guy one of my friends who's like text screenshot I put in there about the ND. Outside of that, I haven't really compared anything else with anyone else. So I am very curious to see what people say. So far, people appear to just be commenting like, yeah, sounds good, cool things, or whatever. But I'm really curious. I'm waiting for someone to come in who's like an ND owner and be like, the steering isn't that bad. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it's kind of a thought. Hello, Chad. I have, and it felt better, and the shifter main line feels sloppy too. Shifter. Wait, what felt better? The ND or the NB? Shifter main line feels sloppy too. So you like the ND better? I'm glad I'm not like the only one saying that about the shifter though. I did not like driving my car for a whole week after I got back. Even though I like got used to it, it still made me feel really weird about my car for an entire week. Well, Chad, if you're there, I'm curious to know. Wait, I didn't understand if like when you said it felt better if it was the oh, there you are. And as a whole felt better to me than the NB. Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, that's why I was also trying to make sure I didn't make the video sound too like subjective or like a lot of them weren't like necessarily like massive pros or cons. It was just a difference to note. And I think the shifter was the best example of that where I truly really didn't at the end of the day I truly didn't really have much of an opinion about it. It really stood out to me and I couldn't tell which I would still prefer today. But I do understand why people have always said like, okay, the NB shifter is one of the best feeling shifters at least, and then how when I like watch modern reviews, people talk about how the ND gearbox is one of the best on the market. Because that was what was going through my head when I first sat in that ND and started like driving it. So it's kind of crazy that it's like so different, but they're also like so good in their own way. But yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels like that. Oh, John, yeah, I see your comment actually. I agree with most of your points as an owner of an NB2 and an ND2. Oh, ND2 is an RF and it's much easier to use the top. I do have a bad shoulder, so I usually put the top up or down on the NB2 while standing. Okay, I agree. I'm not the only one worried about my shoulder. It's also different for sure, but NA and VenB very close. Yeah, because they're basically the same car. That's actually why I picked the NB, because I started when I decided to buy this car a while back. I decided I wanted a Mariner Blue NA, and I started looking into it, and they were like more expensive than I expected, like maybe like 6 to 8,000 in my area. And then I learned that the NB is literally just the NA without the pop-ups and just like more like just incremental features. And it was like $2,000 cheaper in my area. Whoa, okay, I need rotator cuff surgery because of my NA? You're joking. I've been doing research on my car for at least 2 years, dang. And watching YouTube videos like yours and pulled the trigger this year. Originally wanted an NA, but I went with an NB1. There you go. It really is like, I think that, I don't know enough about the NCs, but the NB and NCs are definitely like slept on. I think now a lot of people are starting to talk about how the NC is such a capable car for quite cheap. And I really can't speak to that as much yet. Just on paper, I agree. But yeah, everyone wants NA for good reason because they're adorable. But the NB is just literally the same car, but just better on a technical level and cheaper, which is crazy to me. But yeah, that's how I ended up in my car. And funny enough, like I didn't really have much of a choice in color with my car, but I got lucky that I like found the crystal blue one, which kind of like lined up with like the original blue one I wanted. So I was pretty happy with that. I'm glad it helped like your research though. Research for 2 years. Dang. Yeah, I took like 2 weeks. I just obsessed about it like for all the time, like all day for like 2 weeks, and just like bought it. Like I did all my research, but as soon as I got into it, I realized like I can't wait. I might like lose interest soon enough. I want to buy it now. Please keep up the videos. All right, I'm looking at the video comments right now. Please keep up the Miata videos. I have an NB Miata. The soft top isn't brand new, but in perfect condition. However, dropping the top is extremely easy for me. However, 2 seconds. Yeah, that's fair. However, I cannot put the top back on at a stoplight. I have to get out of the car. No issues latching for me. It's a pleasant experience and glad it's not motorized. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like if it's motorized, it would be so much better, given that it's like the soft top. Interesting. Delish. I've been obsessed with it and talking with friends and family for that, and I finally got it. Congrats, man. Yeah, I obsessed over it, and I thought that would kind of end once I bought it, but the obsession just kept getting worse, which is why I'm here, like doing what I am now, because I'm still obsessed with that car. But yeah, like I did not stop talking about that car for like a couple of months after I got it, to the point where it like annoyed a lot of people around me, and they're like, we can hang out, just no Miata talk. Like I can't take it anymore. I get it. It's an amazing car. It's cheap and it handles well. I can't take it anymore. Oh, funny story that I guess I'll share with y'all. I was hanging out with with my friend yesterday and her family, and I found out. I started talking about this YouTube channel and like these videos I make, and I have this old Miata. And her dad and her grandma were there, and they were starting to talk about like, oh, don't they like have a cult following? That's all I know about those cars, but like, don't they have like a cult following or something? And I was like, yeah, they actually do. You're spot on. And then I forget if it was him or my friend's grandma. I was like, yeah, like, but that's all I know, because like one of our like cousins' daughters, or like a cousin or second cousin, like family member, used to like have like an aftermarket Miata company, but that was like a while back, and they sold it now. And I'm sitting there like, there's only like 5 notable aftermarket companies. Like, which could it be? And so I kept asking, and the grandma's like, I don't know, it's like somewhere in Colorado, I think, but like I don't know anything about it. And I'm just staring at her like, you mean Flying Miata? And she's like, I don't know, I'll have to get back to you. And then she ends up leaving. And then I finally look it up and I find the name of like the couple that founded Flying Miata and sold it 5 years ago. And I asked the dad, like, what is it, like Dan and Terry Cardell or Cardinal or something like that? And he's like, yeah. So it turns out my friend's family member is like the founder of Flying Miata, I guess. I don't know. That like threw me for a loop yesterday. And I feel like y'all are the only people that will like find that amusing. My parents were just like, oh, cool. But like that blew my mind for like the rest of that day. But yeah, crazy. There's only like 3 or 4 companies or whatever. I was pretty shocked. Cool story, bro. I agree. Thanks. Yeah, I still like almost don't believe it, but I only believe it just because I found the name and I asked him and his eyes lit up. He was like, "Yep, that's them." I can't believe like that I had that connection the entire time and I didn't know. Which was also funny because I was telling them like I actually wanted to literally be at that company yesterday. Like I wished I was there for their like Flying Miata's like summer camp. But I didn't really like get serious about that until like registration had already closed. So I'm gonna go next year, 100%. But yeah, now I have to wait a year for that. But I do know like when I go there, I'm gonna like ask about that and see if they know anything, which I'm sure they do because it was like the owners. But yeah. All right, I'm probably gonna end the stream and go and get dinner soon. But if y'all have any other, I got a funny comment on the actual video. If y'all have any questions or any thoughts, I'll be here for 2 more minutes. Be a Chad, buy an NA. Interesting. Just got that comment. All right, I am going to head out. Thanks for joining. I'm going to probably have more streams in the future, but I will probably post about them better, not just like start one out of the blue, so I can get more people in here and like get a bigger audience. But Miata's at the Gap. Isn't that in California though? Because I'm in Texas. So anything in California is like almost 2,000 miles or like 1,500 miles. Colorado is like halfway, so I can at least like make that work. But I don't think I'm willing to road trip in that tiny car for that long. Wait, am I right about that? Miata's at the Gap. Oh no, Tail of the Dragon. Huh. Isn't that like 1,000 miles from here? Hold up, when does that happen? I always kind of just assumed that was in California, but I'm so wrong. Yeah, Tail of the Dragon. Yeah, I'm looking it up now, like how far I am. Let's see. Dude, it's 1,000 miles. I'm like almost an even 1,000 miles from Tail of the Dragon. Huh. Maybe that will become a video someday. That would be a fun experience. When does this actually happen though? Miata's at the Gap. Oh, 52 days. Huh. I might actually think about that. Huh. Yeah, I might actually think about that. We'll see. But thanks for letting me know. I didn't realize it was actually that close. I just kind of assumed it's California because all the fun stuff happens in California. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna log off. Thanks for the support, guys. If you want to support the channel, I have the Patreon link below. And I want to go there one day, August 7th and 10th. Hell yeah. If I do something like that, I'll post about it. But yeah, see you guys.